tonight, my co-host will be Superman, and we'll be discussing our perspectives on leadership ethics in today's society. So Superman, tell me about yourself.
Well, I'm Clark Kent, aka Superman. I was born on a planet named Krypton. It's not Earth. I landed in a hayfield in rural Kansas when I was a little boy. I was picked up by a great family. I grew up not really understanding my powers, and my father, Jonathan Kent, is the one who kind of filled me in, let me know what I could do. There's really nothing I can't do, so he didn't really tell me anything about that. And yeah, now I'm Superman, dubbed by your people, the humans. So, Batman, who are you?
So my name's Bruce Wayne. I grew up outside of Gotham, and actually my parents were killed in front of me when I was little.
Tragic.
So through my life, I've trained and I've dedicated myself to not only avenging them but fighting for justice in Gotham, and so that's how I became Batman. So Superman, what do you think it is that makes a good leader?
Ultimately, I think a good leader is someone who puts the needs of their society above their own. So, in my case, it would be the needs of the people of Metropolis, and yours would be the people of Gotham. I feel like a leader is someone who practices transparency, and as a leader, leaders generally have all eyes on them at all times, so it's very vital that they live authentically and transparent, and with high ethical standing for the sake of their followers.
Superman, I agree, but only to an extent. The needs of society need to be put ahead of the needs of the leader, but that doesn't necessarily require authenticity or transparency. I think if we were both being transparent right now, I wouldn't be wearing a mask and you wouldn't be going around reporting those ridiculous news stories. I think it's more important the good that your actions bring, and I think those actions don't necessarily require authenticity or transparency.
Well, with all due respect, Batman, I think it's pretty obvious that transparency and honesty do not hold a high position as far as moral standing in your life. That being said, I do feel like your motives and your purpose are definitely in the right place when it comes to the people of Gotham. Although I find that you have some unethical methods and manners at which you go to obtain your ultimate purpose of justice in Gotham. For instance, you practically lied to the people of Gotham in the case of Harvey Dent in preserving his shame legacy, even though he was a murderer, only so that you could prevent possible rioting and establish some order or preserve order in your city. Like I said earlier, I just feel like your transparency was and your honesty was compromised then, and as a leader, your honesty and transparency can never be compromised.
Not all of us grew up on a quaint little farm town in Kansas like you did, Superman. I wish I could always be as honest as you, but in Gotham, honesty isn't always the best policy. Now, granted, there were times where I may have been dishonest to the people of Gotham, but as a leader, it's always important to protect your followers. Now, just as we protect our people from villains, we often have to protect our people from themselves. Riots due to Harvey Dent's misgivings would have gotten us absolutely nowhere. Now granted, the problems you and I face are often very different, but how do you think your leadership style and code of morals can be applied to the issues in society today?
Well, what separates me from you and from everyone else on this planet is that I'm not human. I am what you humans dub me as superhuman, and as a superhuman, I have added responsibility. theoretically, as a superhuman leader, I could banish things such as hunger and poverty and several other issues that human leaders have been stumped on for centuries. While I can't turn my back on those issues, my first priority is to help those in need. And just because I can do something, or just because a leader can do something, does not necessarily mean that that leader should do something. A leader in today's society needs to have the power to fight injustice, and it needs to be able to help the followers that are in need. And if a leader goes beyond that and continually helps followers that are not in need, then that leader risks becoming a crutch to his or her followers.
I mean, having super strength, being able to fly, and having laser vision sounds great, but it kind of makes being a leader for you sound easy, and then you get to pick when you want to and when you don't want to be a leader. I think in leadership it's pivotal to always be there for your followers. Discretion in your actions is good, but you can't be lazy on the job. I think sacrifice is the most essential thing to leadership, and that's why I try to give my all to Gotham all the time. I think it costs me time, money, my health, and maybe even sometimes my sanity, but I put in all that hard work to try to become a symbol that inspires hope and instills positive action in my followers, even in my physical absence. I think that doesn't make me a crutch to my followers, but rather a brace that they can depend on when they're in need.
It's funny you mentioned symbol of hope, Batman. I see we have a similarity there, that we both try to resemble a symbol of hope for our followers. And it's also funny that you mentioned sacrifice, because I feel like the ultimate sacrifice you can pay is something that I almost can't, because I am practically immortal. And here on Earth, there really isn't anything that can kill me, unless you have kryptonite. That brings me to my next question. What do you find to be a leader's ultimate failing?
I think a leader's ultimate failing is when they don't act ethically in a given situation. I think whether they act unethically on purpose or on accident, the repercussions can be grave. When I used cell phones as sonar locators to catch the Joker, I successfully caught him, but I effectively ran Wayne Enterprises into the ground. It wasn't the most ethical solution for me to catch the Joker. I succeeded as Batman, but I failed as the CEO of Wayne Enterprises. Alright, Superman, so what's the most important ethical quality you think a leader can have?
Well, Batman, I feel like the most important ethical quality the leader can have is altruism. I feel like selflessness is vital to any leader's attempt at being authentic. And as a superhuman, or as any leader, we are in positions where we can be selfish and we can ask for our followers to worship us and only go after their admiration. But that's not how I operate. When I was younger, I saved a busload of my classmates from drowning in a river, and I fled the scene before they could find out that I was the hero, because at the end of the day, their welfare was the only thing that mattered to me, not any sort of recognition. As a leader and being an altruistic leader, I feel like we must minimize our egos and minimize our desire for admiration, and maximize the welfare of our followers.
Superman, I think striving for altruism is an excellent goal, but I don't think it's a quality that's actually attainable, or at least for us mere mortals. I think many people maintain leadership for the good of others, but they're motivated to become leaders for their own personal gains a lot of times. I act as Batman for the good of Gotham, but I was motivated to become Batman to avenge the death of my parents. Stopping crime, yes, helps society become a better place, but in the end, I do feel personally validated and satisfied by my actions as a leader.
Well, folks, that appears to be all the time we have today between two Ferns. I'm Superman.
And I'm Batman.
Justice League forever.
So Superman, what do you think it is that makes a good leader?
Poop.
Holy shit.